Today is Tuesday, July 18th. We are talking about a key bridge for the Russian military that was attacked for the second time in 9 months, and the end of a deal between Russia and Ukraine that was built as a beacon of hope. Also, which parts of the U.S. are now blanketed in unhealthy air from wildfires again, while other areas make extreme heat history. Plus, another breakthrough against RSV in young children. A price drop in popular electric vehicles as new competition comes to market. And Taylor Swift does it again. We'll bring you her latest record on the Billboard charts. Those stories and more news to know in today's episode. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. A bridge explosion could mark another turning point in Russia's war in Ukraine. The Kerch Bridge links Russia to Crimea. Crimea is the Ukrainian territory Russia annexed or took control of 9 years ago. And it's been a key supply route for Russian troops in their ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Now, Russian government officials are calling the bridge explosion a terror attack, and they're blaming Ukraine. Russian President Putin has also promised to retaliate. Ukrainian authorities have not confirmed they were behind this, but remember, when that same bridge was last attacked last October, Ukraine did not claim responsibility until months later. Now, it's not expected to fully reopen until the fall, assuming no more attacks happen before that. Speaking of Ukraine, just hours after that attack happened, Russia announced it was pulling out of an important deal. It's the deal that let Ukraine keep exporting grain and other food items through the Black Sea during this war. Experts say it has helped stave off worsening global hunger and prevented a spike in food prices. Well, already, since Russia pulled out just yesterday, wheat, corn, and soybean prices all rose. Russia says it did not back out of this deal because of the bridge attack. Instead, Russian officials say they want Western sanctions lifted before letting Ukrainian exports continue through the Black Sea. Of course, this impacts many more countries besides just Russia and Ukraine. The U.S. ambassador to the UN says Russia is holding humanity hostage in what she called another act of cruelty. To be continued. Canada is still in the middle of its worst wildfire season on record. And once again, the smoke from those wildfires has been drifting south into the United States. A total of 32 states were under air quality alerts yesterday, from Montana to New York, and as far south as North Carolina and Tennessee. Today's forecast does not look much better, with the air being considered unhealthy from Ohio to Connecticut. So people in those areas are being asked to limit outdoor activities as much as possible and to wear masks when they do have to go outside. The advice is actually similar for millions of Americans in the southern U.S. who are dealing with a historic heat wave. And more records are expected to be broken, like in Phoenix. There, today is expected to be the 19th day in a row with temperatures at or above 110, the longest stretch in history. And it may not get better from here, as some forecasts now predict the heat wave to continue into next month. Other daily temperature records have been broken in other parts of the Southwest and Texas over the last few days as well. And today, the heat is expected to start spreading eastward, while also sticking around in the Southwest. Millions of sensitive emails meant for the U.S. military have apparently been sent to an unintended target, the West African country of Mali. The issue all goes back to a typo, since members of the U.S. military have email accounts that end with .mil, whereas email accounts in Mali have the domain .ml. So leave off that one I, and you could end up risking national security. The Financial Times first reported this issue. The news outlet had heard from a Dutch internet entrepreneur who was contracted to manage Mali's .ml domain. He says in the last decade, he raised the issue with several different American officials. Then last week, his contract to manage the domain expired. So the Mali government gained access to the emails, and the contractor decided to start raising awareness in media. As examples, he pointed out that he saw an email that included hotel room numbers for top generals, along with others that included medical information, passwords, and itineraries for senior officers. In response, one Pentagon official says the Defense Department has since blocked its accounts from emailing .ml addresses as a precaution. At this point, she says the only thing that can get through would be emails from personal accounts like Gmail or Yahoo, and the department discourages using personal accounts for official business. Now it's apparently working on other solutions, too. For the first time in the history of the New York Police Department, there's a Latino person at the top. Edward Caban was sworn in as the 46th police commissioner of the nation's largest police department yesterday. He's been working for the NYPD for more than 3 decades. And New York City's mayor decided he was right to replace the last police chief who suddenly resigned last month after a year and a half. Commissioner Caban has served in nearly every role within the police department, and now he'll oversee roughly 36,000 uniformed police officers and 19,000 civilian employees. We have much more news for you still ahead, but first, thanks to our sponsor, ZocDoc. Have you ever been on the hunt for a new doctor and you basically ask everyone you know for their recommendation? You are determined to find a doctor who actually listens to you, makes you feel comfortable, and knows what they're actually talking about. Then you finally think you found the one, only to call the office and learn this perfect doctor does not take your insurance. Cue the frustration. This is not how I like to spend my time and energy. Instead, head over to ZocDoc to find and book the doctor who is right for you and takes your insurance. Yes, ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. I check ZocDoc whenever I'm looking for a new doctor or specialist, and it's easy to do. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. The people who live in Hawaii and those visiting are facing a severe weather threat. Tropical storm Calvin is headed toward the islands, bringing the risk of strong winds, heavy rain, high surf, flooding, and mudslides. So meteorologists are encouraging people to pay close attention to the forecast. The storm is expected to be near the Big Island by either tonight or tomorrow morning. And then other islands like Maui could hit over the next couple of days. Then it's likely to break up in the ocean before threatening any other land. Calvin is the third storm of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. Just like the Atlantic hurricane season, it runs through November 30th. There's a new preventative shot that's apparently able to protect babies from a common but sometimes serious respiratory virus. For the first time, the FDA approved an antibody injection to protect kids younger than 2 years old from RSV. That's important since RSV is the leading cause of hospitalization for infants in the United States. And last fall and winter, cases surged so much that children's hospitals were overwhelmed around the country. But the FDA says this new option from Sanofi and AstraZeneca is able to safely prevent infections. It's not considered a vaccine, but it works in a similar way by offering some protection through one winter virus season. It's a single antibody injection that newborns and infants can get during their first RSV season. Kids up to 2 years old who are immunocompromised or otherwise particularly vulnerable to severe infections can get a second dose during their second RSV season, too. Now that the FDA has signed off, it's up to the CDC to do the same, and it is expected to soon. So the drug makers say the injections will be available ahead of the next RSV season in the fall. The electric truck market is starting to get more competitive. This week, Tesla's first Cybertruck rolled off the assembly line in Austin, Texas. This has been a long time coming. We actually told you back in 2019 when Tesla founder Elon Musk first announced it would be coming. But in the years since, Musk said supply chain shortages got in the way, and the company had to push back production a few times. Now that one actually has been built, Musk says Tesla's goal is to produce about 250,000 Cybertrucks a year. But of course, it all depends on demand. The Cybertruck does have some competition in the EV pickup market. Ford just announced it's cutting the price of its electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck by almost $10,000. That drops the starting price to nearly $50,000. Ford says it was able to do so because of lower material costs and higher factory output. And the plans are for production to keep increasing in the months to come. Well, yet another streaming service has decided to start raising its prices. NBC Universal says it's going to start costing more to watch Peacock. The so-called premium plan will increase by $1 a month to $6, while the ad-free tier will increase by $2 a month to be $12. For new customers, the change is already in effect, and everyone who already has an account will notice the change next month. This is the first price increase since Peacock launched 3 years ago, but it's certainly not alone in raising prices, as most have over the past 2 years. Pop star Taylor Swift has just made history again. This week, she became the first woman to have 4 of the top 10 albums on the Billboard 200 chart at the same time. Swift's new version of Speak Now is in the top spot. She re-recorded all the songs from her original Speak Now album and added 6 previously unreleased songs. And it didn't take long to hit number 1. It's actually her 12th number 1 album, pushing her past Barbra Streisand for the most chart toppers by a woman. As far as all artists go, the Beatles still hold the all-time record with 19 number 1s, followed by Jay-Z with 14. But Swift isn't done yet. She also plans to re-release her first self-titled album, 1989, and Reputation, along with any other potential new ones she decides to put out in the future. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Miracle Brand. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. I'm really impressed that I'm getting comfortable, cooling, and silver-infused fabric that also helps prevent bacteria all in one. It's so unique, and I'm really excited to be using these sheets now. Go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy to try Miracle Made sheets today. And get this, whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order now, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Newsworthy at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy and then use the code newsworthy to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/newsworthy to treat yourself. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, what made the loudest sound ever recorded? You can play along with us in our weekly roundup email that comes out each Friday. Simply sign up to get it at thenewsworthy.com/email or find the link in today's episode notes. As for last week's trivia question, what was America's first national park? The answer is Yellowstone. It dates back to March 1st, 1872, when then-President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Yellowstone National Park Protection Act into law. And still today, it's one of the largest, best-known national parks in the U.S. It covers nearly 3,500 square miles, mostly in Wyoming, but it also crosses into Montana and Idaho. Yellowstone includes wildlife like bears, bison, wolves, moose, and elk. It also features more than half of the world's known hydrothermal landmarks like geysers, hot springs, and steam vents. Of course, Yellowstone was just the first of many national parks. By the end of the 19th century, the U.S. added Sequoia, Yosemite, and Mount Rainier to its list. And today, the National Park Service manages 424 of them in all 50 states, protecting 85 million acres of American wilderness. Well, thank you so much for listening today and for sharing the show. We'll be back with much more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.